We are officially 224 miles away from 4,000 miles since adding the Instant Shudder Fixx to my transmission. And there have been a lot of developments over the past week. Most noteworthy was getting a message from LubeGard, the company behind Instant Shudder Fixx, thanking me for giving an honest and fair assessment of what's going on with my vehicle and my experience. And I want to say thank you for leaving the message. It's nice to have someone notice all of your hard work and all the time that you put into doing these videos, because it's not easy. I want you guys to know that I have completely made up my mind, and I am not going to drain the fluid in this transmission. I had a very long conversation with a trusted mechanic, actually, who is connected to our family, and told him the situation. He even gave me an example of where he changed the transmission fluid on a BMW, I think it was maybe a 5 Series, but he said that he changed it every 30,000 miles from brand new, and just a little over 100,000 miles, the vehicle. And he said, listen, I'm very familiar with Instant Shudder Fixx. I know about it. So he said this to me. He says, what you're doing right now is not going to last forever. He said, you need to prepare, because it could last. There's no telling how long it will last. It depends on your situation. He says, but it does work. If you've gotten over 3,000 miles out of your transmission after putting that stuff in there, he says, man, that is just gravy. Anything you get right now is gravy, because if you have a transmission which right now I have 114,000 miles on this transmission, he said those transmissions aren't, the 6R80 isn't designed to last you more than 100,000 miles. Now, I disagree with that. I had a 2001 Lincoln Town Car, and that transmission was the original transmission, and I did flush that transmission multiple times, and it had 300,000 plus miles on it, okay? It had 300,000 miles. It wasn't giving me any issues at all. That transmission was like gold. Then I get a 2008 Lincoln Town Car. That transmission was absolute garbage. Anyway, after the conversation, he was just like, look, I don't want any part of it. I'm telling you right now, if you drain that fluid, that car probably won't go anywhere. He says, I've drained transmission fluid before on a car, and just to change it out, nothing was wrong with it. And the moment you put the new fluid and everything back in there, the car just won't go anywhere. He's like, it's so hard to explain every little thing to you right now about what happens, but there's so much that goes into these transmissions that you do not want to disrupt that. So if it's working, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I'm a big if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of guy. So with all that said, here we are, just about now, as we speak, we are exactly 200 miles away from 4,000 miles. So 200 miles away from 4,000 miles. I have no intentions of touching or messing with the transmission anymore. What's done is done. It has a problem. I put Instant Shudder Fixx in it. It has stopped giving me the problems that it was giving me. You know, it's one of those things to where it's so hard for me to believe. I'm still like, you know, and I appreciate all the comments that I'm getting, whether they're negative or positive. And I've had some close friends of mine even say, what you're doing will not last. This is snake oil, man. You better get ready. You're gonna fail with this thing. But what do you call failure? When you have a transmission that really is just not wanting to go anywhere, almost, and it's really random, and it's just giving you issues, and you put this stuff in there, and all of a sudden, it just stops doing it for, you know, virtually 4,000 miles. I mean, what are you gonna think? You're gonna be like, I know, listen, I watched and read a lot of articles and videos before doing this, because I was so apprehensive about putting this stuff in. I am not sponsored by LubeGard or Instant Shudder Fixx. No one is behind this. I am just trying to give the information to the people. I just want everyone to know I was having a problem, a big one, and I put this stuff in, and instantly instantly my problem was put on hold. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but I know one thing. I have a conscience, so I'm not going to sell it off to anyone. I have no plans of doing that. I'm gonna keep the vehicle, and I'm gonna see how long it goes, and I'm gonna keep giving you guys reports. Like I said, I'm not gonna be held responsible for anything that you guys do, but for me, this thing has worked, and it has worked big. And there we are. All right, so 4,000 miles are in the books since adding the Instant Shudder Fixx. I am grateful. I hope to get 10 times as many miles out of this transmission. You never know. Once again, absolutely no shudder whatsoever. However, the transmission, on occasion, and I'm gonna have to preface it with this one other thing real quick. This was happening before these other transmission issues occurred, okay? Occasionally, it will be slow to engage or slip, but there is no shudder whatsoever. This was not caused by the Instant Shudder Fixx. I can assure you that, because like I said, one thing I noticed about these transmissions in general, because I test drove several of these Lincoln Navigators before purchasing this one. Well, I've said this before and I'm gonna say it again. The Lincoln Navigator L series reminds me a lot of my L series Lincoln Town Car, but on stilts. So they have this sluggish, you know, it's not a real peppy, responsive transmission, but once again, I'm gonna repeat it. This was happening before I put Instant Shudder Fixx in the vehicle. The main issue that I was having out of this transmission was the shudder that I was experiencing just before finally saying, you know what, enough is enough, and dropping the Instant Shudder Fixx in this transmission, and instantly it stopped with the shuddering. I was able to get on it, and as soon as this Escalade here passes me, I'm gonna show you how I get on it. If this guy ever moves, he's super slow, but I mean, I can still get on it. I wasn't able to do this before, and as you can see, I'm passing people right now. I'm speeding up. I'm at 90 miles per hour. I gotta watch it around here. We're in Georgia. I don't need a ticket, but couldn't do this before putting the Instant Shudder Fixx in here. Now, I could get on it and it would pick up, but it would shudder as I was gaining speed. But now I can get on it like I am right now, and it will engage and it will move right on ahead. So that's gonna do it for this update. I will report back to you again at 5,000 miles and let you know what's happening from there. In the meantime, I hope all of you are having a great holiday season, and I want to wish you a happy new year. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll have more videos out to you soon.